You ready? Yes? Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is your state treasurer, Dale Falwell, joined here with the communication staff. Thank you for making Ask Me Anything jump up on the table again this month. Glad to have all those who are joining us. We know it's a busy day in Raleigh and elsewhere. The purpose today is to obviously continue our trend of every month making me and our staff available to you in terms of to the international, national, state, or local press to ask any question that you like. Our media advisory that went out a few days ago talked about my opposition to the federal policy, which is hammering homeowners with new fees. I believe I just saw a statistic that mortgage originations are down tremendously over the last few months or year. And the last thing we need to be doing is discouraging people, especially those that have tried to make the right choices in their life to put themselves in a position to buy a home by charging them a surcharge for those choices, what I call disincenting the right behavior. I was part of 22 other state treasurers who uh, signed a letter to send to the Biden administration to look at and most likely repeal this policy. Another press release came out this morning regarding our ESG, and we appreciate those bill sponsors in the House and the Senate who are putting forth that legislation. There's a lot going on with Blue Cross Blue Shield and lots of other things going on. I'd be glad to take any questions you might have on any of these topics or any topics that might be on your mind. So if April, if somebody wants to hit their button and chime in and ask me a question, I'd be glad to answer. Dave? Dave, go ahead. He typed something up there. He's typed something up there.
Treasurer, you've asked for the legislature to slow down the movement on the Blue Cross regulatory reform bill. Have you heard back on that?
I've not heard back on that. That bill is now on the governor's desk. And at the Council of State this morning, Dave, I asked the governor to consider all of the amendments that the insurance regulator Mike Causey put forward, which were not allowed to be heard once that was traveling through the General Assembly. And also asked the governor to ask Blue Cross, who I've asked them the same question. Business, Dave, is a very dynamic thing. You know that as the editor of Business NC. Business comes and business goes. But when you're talking about not tens or hundreds, but billions of dollars of policyholder money that has been built up at Blue Cross Blue Shield, that I think the rightful owner of that money belongs to the policyholders, either in the form of a refund or in the form of lower premiums. I think that anyone who still remains involved in this subject needs to ask Blue Cross, are they on the verge or are they at risk for losing any other large customers in addition to the state health plan? So I said that this morning in the Council of State meeting. I'd be glad to answer a follow-up if you have one. Go ahead, Dave. Okay. Next. Luciana. April, tell me who I'm supposed to be asking about. Luciana, do you have a question? Luciana, I don't think we're muted, but check yours and see if you are on your end. Teresa, did you have a question?
No, I'm good, Treasurer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for joining us today. And Luciana doesn't have a question. Dave, did you have a follow-up question?
Well, sure. Couple things. One, I wondered if you comment on the Wilmington building issue. It sounds like you think they're about ready to overpay for that building. Second question, Charlotte County, Mecklenburg County approved, I believe, plans for move ahead on a record school bond issue in Raleigh in Mecklenburg that you've been critical of. Would you comment on those two issues?
I'd be glad to, Dave. Where those issues are similar for me is the fact that I expect and demand on any of these topics the highest levels of transparency. I mean, we're talking about public dollars here. The highest level of competency in terms of making sure that the loyalty and duty of care is to the taxpayers of those communities, and the highest levels of governance to make sure that there's no conflicts and that things are complied with. So those are the criteria that we're applying every day at the Treasurer's office, but especially today at the Local Government Commission, and we'll be doing that today at 1:30. It's not our job to figure out as far as the PPD building. Our job is to make sure that it's reasonable and other types of criteria that we'll be going over today. As far as the school bond issue, I currently serve as a member of the State Board of Education. I was an 8-year member of the the County Board of Education in Forsyth County. I understand the need for capital improvement, and I'm want to make sure that that in all these major multi-billion-dollar school bond referenda, that people have the ability to challenge assumptions. We've seen examples across the state where anytime that somebody might challenge an assumption, so they end up, not having a voice anymore. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars, and the Guilford County issue, which I think you reported on earlier in the year, that school bond referendum in Guilford County will just in a few short years be larger than the state general obligation. About that particular transaction, Dave, is that the voters approved the school bond issue and they disapproved of the funding mechanism to pay for it by a 60-40 ratio. So this is some of the things that are going on as far as referenda and school construction. But most importantly, Dave, I think that all attention needs to be put on making sure that the proceeds from the state lottery, and I was sitting on the floor of the House when the lottery passed in North Carolina, that those proceeds match the 40% of the lottery profit going toward public school construction, with a special emphasis on making sure that the local counties have the flexibility to replenish schools that may have good bones, but they need to be updated and not just tearing down everything and building new facilities. So that's my comment about the school bond. I can tell you that our major cities, if you look at our census, and counties are obviously growing, but I think that even as large as they are and as much tailwind as they have behind them as far as growth, they have got to be more diligent. It's necessary to watch more necessary to watch the pennies and the paper clips, whether regarding a school bond or anything else, because when you have a these urban communities that have so much tailwind behind them, then all of a sudden things change. Sales tax revenue, property tax revenue, tourism revenue. When things change, they change very quickly, and all of a sudden you're sitting there saddled with these huge debt structures. I took Wilmington. Anything else? Any other follow-up? Well, thank you for joining us. And obviously, we strive to be the most transparent and accessible uh, state agency in North Carolina. It's a major reason why our department received the Sunshine Award last year. It was not based on the treasurer's personality. So with that little bit of treasury humor, hope you all have a blessed day. And let's think about all of our veterans, those that served, those that were killed in the line of duty and in action, and especially the tens, if not hundreds of thousands that remain missing in action during the defense of our freedoms. Thank you very much.